this example, we are going to help startup that is manufacturing in scooters to decide their pricing strategy. So in doing that, we're going to use a data set that is included in our templates in Scite, marketing and sales. This data set has several features collected from the 10 most important competitors. From these features, we have the price of each scooter. It's either continuous column, and the price is, for example, dollars. The years that these scooters have been in the market, so the newcomers, it's a scale. From 1 to 5, it's a continuous column that goes from 1 year, the newcomers up to 5. Years, the maximum. Then there are 4 technical features with a scale from 0 to 100 about the scooter life. Features, for example, can be security, safety can be comfort, or it can be, for example, active, driving help or something like that. Then finally, we have a marketing effort. We have a marketing effort as a scale from 0 to 3, where 0 is very low marketing effort, 1 is intermediate, and 2 is very high marketing effort with very high expending. Then we have a brand awareness that is a scale that goes from 0 to 100 that is coming from interviews, and we have the market share that is a continuous column that is the current market share of each of these competitors. With all these features, we want to decide a pricing strategy. The most important feature here is not pricing. It's the market share because it's the measure of success. So what we're going to do is to predict the market share with an algorithm from the combination of all these other features, including price. For doing that, we're going to go to train a model. We are going to select as a column. To predict, we are going to select the market share, and we are going to do an additional step in this case that is important, is go to the pants option and select the power up with steady data. The reason is that we have a very few rows in the data set, only 10, so the algorithm needs much more columns for training a model. With 10 columns, the algorithm is not able to find patterns in what the algorithm is going to do is to learn the data but not to find patterns in this data. This is why we need a higher number of samples data set, and this is why we choose power up with steady data, because selecting these options, we are going to multiply by 20 the number of rows we have initially. So if we have 10 rows, we are going to have a data set with 200 rows, and this data set is going to be equivalent to the original data from the statistical importance point of view. And we're going to train this synthetic data set, and we're going to test the accuracy of our prediction with the original data. Once we have selected this, we go to train again. It is again because it is already trained, because it is a template, but we train again and we wait for a minute. The model is already trained and we have got a really high accuracy, 94s. It is we have been able to predict the market share from a combination of the rest of the columns. But in this specific case, we wanted to make a pricing strategy, so we are interested in the feature price. Okay, when we have trained a model, the first thing we can see is which columns have been important for the algorithm to predict the target market share. We see that the first 3 ones are feature 2, marketing effort, feature 4, and final. We have at the end, we have one that is price that have had lower importance, but has some importance as well. Then we are going to select the price, and we can see how the price have influenced the model in predicting the market share. We have the price ranges here in dollars from $2,600 up to $5,000, and then we have a positive influence. It means influence in getting higher market share, and a negative influence is influencing getting lower market share. What we can see is that we have for lower prices less than $3,200, we have a positive influence. Of the feature price, it means that for lower prices, the algorithm have predicted higher market shares. And for intermediate prices between $3,000 and $4,000, it is changing. It is a high influence. Positive, but also negative influence. So the average influence, the blue line, is very close to 0. Now, when we arrive to a high price to $4,200, we have an interesting peak when we see that for these high prices, the market share is high and then goes down again up to the higher prices. It means that in this data set, we have competitors that has a high price and has a high market share. So this is why we see that this, for a specific case, it could have a positive influence. For the more general, it means lower market prices has higher market share. So the conclusion should be that we don't have to go to an intermediate pricing for our competitors, because the success is in the small prices range and also in the high prices range. The small prices range is because it means probably that customers don't want to pay. For the executor, and also the high prices range means that probably customers, if the features they consider are important, are let's say high in valuation, they want to pay for this. We can see, for example, that the most important feature was a feature 2. It means a technical feature. So this could be the conclusion of the recommendation for our marketing pricing strategy.